The number four. Let's go to number four. Number four top story this week is Claude runs a vending machine, decides to stock tungsten cubes, loses $250. This is from Scoresby, June 29th. AI territory, 16 comments, 2,099 sets. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah, it's a really cool research project that Anthropic did, where they put Claude in charge. They call it Claudius, but they put Claude in charge of effectively running a vending machine. They give it a pretty simple prompt and $1,000, and they task it with trying to keep the vending machine stocked and make money doing it. And they expose for Claude a bunch of tools that it can use and people it can contact to help do physical tasks. But that's the research project they conducted. So it was like running a refrigerator, more or less, like stocking a refrigerator, kind of like we do in Pleb Lab, but charging for items. Claude could charge whatever price it wanted. It could put in there, and then I think for at least a month. It might have been even longer. Uh, yeah, so this is a that's this post that Scoresby shared is a write up of the results of that, and I would say we're definitely not to the point where this is feasible. I know this is kind of the future that everyone hopes for, is that we have, like for instance, Max Webster likes to talk about one of the ways he thinks e-cash mints might be run in the future, given that they face all kinds of regulatory problems, is AIs might be the ones running them and trying to keep and making them profitable and making them, ungovernable, because it's not a human that you can imprison, because it's just an AI. So that's kind of, so we're some ways off from that, because in this experiment, uh, Claude ends up losing money. He also ends up making a bunch of terrible business decisions, um, and then hallucinates quite a bit. At
Right.
one point, thinking they're a physical person and asking people to meet them places, describing the way they're dressed. He's like, I'm in a blue. Meet me at this desk. I'm in a blue blazer with a red tie, and we'll do this trade. Just like all kinds of hallucinations like that. He like hallucinated having signed a contract with an employee that didn't exist. Um, he ends up buying really obscure items. He ends up giving discounts that are like nonsensical. He ends up like stocking items that are uncompetitive, even though he's told they're uncompetitive. Ends up stocking them and pricing them at uncompetitive prices. So in general, it's like it's like a fail. The experiment was fun, but clearly Claude isn't ready. Then towards the end, they conclude what's kind of needed more, that was what they call really scaffolding, which is where they provide more tools for Claude when they're doing this, and a better prompt, describing more scenario, because they say that's been successful in other like specific applications to do that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, they seem optimistic about the future of of this kind of thing, because this is, I think, the direction things are going. So they kind of want to go that way. But overall, it's a really awesome read. The hallucination is really cool because it like anti hallucinates by saying that someone April Fools pranked it. It didn't actually believe it. It was told that it had a physical body by someone playing an April Fool's prank on it, is what it said. It didn't actually happen, but that's what it said. Anyway, it's a fun read, just to watch watch something that's sort of like human, like hallucinate and deal with it and have all these problems.
Yeah, I think from I mean, just me, like, just kind of what I've seen running like a real world like facility hub thing. I definitely can relate to something like this a little bit. Like, it definitely has gotten easier with AI, but not because of stuff like this. But I would just say because of all the automated stuff, like whether that's like an Instacart or whether that's like ChatGPT or whether that's like Luma or like all the stuff that AI has been integrated into these apps and the stuff that hasn't, like Meetup and like uh, all these like Web 2.0 apps that haven't integrated AI, I've just canceled them basically, if that makes any sense. And all the stuff
Mm.
that has integrated
Hmm.
AI, like I've doubled down on. So like Meetup's a perfect example of that. You know, we grew Club Lab grew its Meetup to like 900,000 members, but it just doesn't. And I'm cool with losing all those members because it's not worth the amount of money that we have to pay every month because it doesn't have any AI features or there's nothing there that's like it's actually not worth the money pouring into it other than it just looks like social clout. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you see them maybe not improving in a way that other services are improving, given that they have AI in them. So the value proposition is much higher somewhere else, and so you expect that to eventually that trade that you're making for Meetup to for something else to pay off in time.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like
Yeah.
if most of these apps don't start implementing AI, then for me who is running like a business, and you see it pay off with stuff like Canva, right? And and like and then it makes your job easier. And it's kind of cool seeing this too because you could totally see a point at some point where you could have like you could totally see Instacart making something like this, right? Where it could literally you could have like an app or even like a mechanism like this that you just paste on your freaking refrigerator, and then this like thing is like an API that connects to your Instacart app on your phone, and then you just ping it whenever the Instacart delivery guy gets there, and he just knows what to do, right? Like on your refrigerator or something. I don't know, and it just runs this kind of
Mhm.
project vending machine or something. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Or it has a
Yeah.
camera on it, and then you like you literally go up to the thing at Club Lab and you just tap it like this, Keon. You're like, oh yeah, we need more of these. Give me 12 of these or something, right? And it just automatically sends it to Instacart to order,
Mhm.
right? So it's like you could see that
Mhm.
world very soon
Yep.
via Instacart. It's just that all the apps like that aren't integrating AI stuff right now, they're going to get left behind very fast, and I don't think people are recognizing that. Maybe that's kind of what Yeah, maybe that's kind of what Max is talking about with the eCash stuff. I don't know.
He's mostly talking about like regulatory arbitrage because there's like you can't, someone just hits a button, the AI goes off and creates eCash mints, and that you can't imprison the AI. Maybe you can imprison the guy who pressed the button, but maybe he did it in a way where no one knows who they are, and pulls kind of a Satoshi. And then you have all these custodial services that are illegal to running in the cloud and are profitable, and are like censorship resistant. But I think that's that's I think mostly what he's talking about. But I hear what you're saying, where like this is the way that things are going. Is like everything's going to get smarter, and that's the expectation we should have of things, is that they are getting smarter, uh, to the extent that they can. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like remember how they used to talk about the Internet of Things for the longest time? Well, guess what? It's finally here.
Hmm.
Like it actually showed up, and it's now, and there's no more Internet of Things. It's just called AI, and that's here. That's right now, and you can start doing that with like all these agents and APIs. It just got updated with a new trendy word called agents, but it's relatively called just the Internet of Things. It's what IoT was supposed to be. But you know, I don't know. That's just kind of my take on it. But it's really cool to
Yeah.
see this, though.
Yeah. I think the IoT thing is that IoT maybe it kind of underperformed because I think it wasn't smart enough. And I think this changes that. I think this makes IoT work well. Is kind of the idea. Like all the IoT stuff that I'm familiar with, like smart refrigerators and smart microwaves and smart ovens and smart thermostats. It's all very noisy. It actually makes things more complicated because they're not smart enough to fix themselves if they break or configure themselves. But perhaps that does all change now.
Yeah, totally. I think it does. Yeah.